This is the Toy Dolls. 45 years of
45 RPM.
Hello again, Olga.
Hi, Ronan.
Good to see you. We're now reaching July 1986.
Right.
And the release, Geordie's Gone to Jail.
Right.
Which is backed up with Idle Gossip on the B-side and a Japanese version of Geordie's Gone to Jail, which we'll talk about as part of this discussion. Now, firstly, I think we need the full story behind the A-side here, Geordie's Gone to Jail.
Right.
For legal reasons, we should state that the back sleeve of the release does have a disclaimer about mistaken identity.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Yeah. Right. It was about me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about me killing anybody. It was just, I was driving a car once and it had a dodgy light. And the police pulled me over and they said, get the light fixed and we need to see insurance. And when I went to to get the insurance, the forms and things, the insurance company had went bust. So I told the police this and I had to go to court and they said you were driving without insurance. But I said I didn't know anything. And it was about me, but it wasn't. I had to be melodramatic. And with being come from the northeast, I just said Geordie.
Yeah.
You know, so it was not mistaken identity, but it was mistaken that I didn't know I hadn't actually done anything wrong because I thought I had car insurance, but there was a dodgy car insurance thing which went bust.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Yeah, that's great. Now, again, this single went top 20 in the indie chart.
Uh-huh.
So you really were on a roll with this success. That's 4 years of consistent...
I think the song's all right, actually. Yeah. It's not a bad song.
It did very well, and you've got 4 years now of consistent...
But I did steal the middle. Sorry, I'm going to put in here.
I couldn't possibly comment.
The chorus bit, I did steal that off Ultravox from so The Voice. The look and the sound of the voice, and
I think you got away with it.
I think I did.
Yeah. And it's luckily you haven't mentioned it in public. So
I've never mentioned anyone. I never will.
Yeah, not even on video.
Yeah.
This is it. What strikes me to ask there is after 4 years of consistent top 20 indies, you must have felt, regardless of what the press thought, you must have thought that the UK fans were being very loyal. You were building up and they were staying with you.
Yeah, but you've got to remember, we hardly ever played in England, though.
Mm-hmm.
The fans that were staying with us were like France and Germany and South America and all these other places, rather than England.
Although the record sales were acting against that.
Yeah, I think kind of there'll still be a number of people in England that never forgive us, shall I say, for the Dylan Nelly Elephant thing. And we'll always say, you're the Nelly Elephant men. The Nelly men. So it's always going to be like that. But yeah, it did feel a little bit like you say there.
Some loyalty there.
Yeah.
And the B-side contained a Japanese version of Geordie's Gone to Jail. I'm going to ask you separately in a minute about the process of doing that.
Right.
But was the decision to do with an attempt by the record company or by management to break new territories?
No, it's because we at that time, what year was this?
86.
Right, yeah. At this time, we were becoming really, really popular in Japan, especially in Tokyo, Nagoya, and Osaka areas. And it was my idea to do a Japanase version. Even though at that time I didn't have any idea about speaking Japanese. You know, I mean, I learned it later on. But so we had to use... we used this Japanese teacher who come along. She was sitting there, you know, she was saying, "Oh, Dollabu Nakatana," you know. She was telling me what to sing.
So phonetically, just learning the syllables.
I mean, I could get away with it now, but at the time we needed her there. We just thought it would be really nice for the Japanese market.
Yeah. What triggered the initial interest in Japan? What developed the Japanese?
It was Dig That Groove Baby, I think.
Really?
Yeah. We got a call from our manager, and he said that Japan are picking right up on this Dig That Groove, and we've got a record company there now, Toys Factory, and it was selling really, really well, you know. And we saw like 40 or 50,000 just in the Tokyo area, which was like astronomical.
Yeah.
And he said, "Would you like to go there?" And I thought, well, Japan, who's going to see us in Japan? Just people in kimonos. I had no idea. So we went there, and it was like being the Beatles or something. At that time, all the people at the airports and the train stations and that screaming, it was unreal for about 5 years.
Am I allowed to use the word groupies at this point?
No, groupies is the wrong word.
It's the wrong word to use,
it is,
isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway,
fans were interested in your musicality.
Yeah. Anyway, so all the groupies were there. I think it lasted for about 5 years.
Quite some session.
Yeah. And it did die down after then, but I think it peaked about 90, 91 kind of time when we made the video live in the Kawasaki and that. And it was great going there.
Yeah.
You know, we used to do the first time we flew there, we played just Osaka and Kyoto and Nagoya, I think, and then we went on to do an American tour. Then we went back there about another 6 or 7 or 8 times, I think. It was really, really good. And then I ended up living there. So there you go.
Yeah. And just going back to the recording, I often wonder how you must have, when you woke up that morning thinking, I'm going to the recording studio today to sing in a language I don't speak.
Yeah.
And you said that you were helped sort of phonetically through the...
Yeah.
But who wrote the lyrics to it?
Well, I wrote the lyrics.
I mean, who wrote the Japanese version? Who did the translation of them?
It was a Japanese teacher. She
did that as well as guiding you through on the day.
Yeah, and obviously some of the words in Japanese are much longer than the English words are shorter, so you had to keep some English words. You know, like the chorus, we started to keep the same words. You know,
interesting process. And Idle Gossip was on the B-side there, which was also the lead track of the album of the same name. And which was about neighbourhood nosiness. Yeah, I wondered if it was based on anything specific, or you just fed up with neighbours generally sticking their nose in.
Oh well, you live on a housing estate, and you've got these people don't go anywhere. They're looking out their curtains, watching people cut the grass and mow the lawn and wash the cars on a Saturday, and there was gossip, between them all. It was just based on that because I lived in that kind of an area. So which is a great area for songwriting.
Yeah. Somebody once told me that the double-decker bus is your best friend if you're a writer. You listen to little bits, you pick up ideas, and
totally.
That's it. There were 2 milestones associated with this single. Firstly, it was your last release on Volume. Now, you were, by some distance, Volume's most successful artist. Yeah. So I'm wondering why the split happened when it did.
You know what? I can't remember.
It hadn't been building up or anything?
No.
Specific incident?
I can't really remember. I think... I can't remember.
It's probably one of those, just the natural... like a relationship, Olga. It comes to a natural end.
I don't know whether we were approached by the guys from Knit Records, which were Neat Records, because we moved to them for one album after then, this Barefaced Cheek thing. I think it had something to do with that, just for a change, I think. But they were...
You've got fond memories of the relationship.
Totally, with Dawn and Andy,
Brilliant. And the second milestone is you'd also, by this time, you'd said goodbye to Guardian Studios near Durham. Yeah. And you tried out Fairview Studios near Hull. Yeah. To work with Michael Chapman. Yeah. Could you tell us how this came about and what emerged as what became the problems on that recording?
Well, that was still on Volume, and they thought, how about using a producer? And he produced the Idle Gossip album and the Geordie's Gone to Jail thing. And it was a nightmare, to be honest, working with, because if I left everything to him, it would have been fine. Yeah. Right? But because I had my ideas about how much reverb and this should be used, it was a mismatch of my ideas and his, and
the two didn't marry somehow.
No, I can't listen to the Idle Gossip album for this. There's so much like spacey reverb on it, and the speeds of this, different things, and what I thought and what he thought were different.
So just a clash of styles and desires, really.
Yeah, he should have just left it to me. I'll just left it to him. I think it would have worked better.
I've got just to finish off this this chat, Olga. I've got a general question about if you had to start from scratch and invent an ideal producer, a sound engineer, a team to work around with you. Yeah. What would those people look like? I don't know physically, but what would you paint as the ideal relationship with each of those players?
I would probably use the perfect guy is probably Tim Armstrong from Rancid, because I think his production's spot on. So it would probably be him, or somebody who would come along right from the beginning of all the rehearsals and be there all the time, and then chop the songs up and put them in the right orders, the arrangements and that, and then be there right from the start of all recording, using the right mics, and somebody you can talk with beforehand, before you start it all, and know that you understand each other. I think, probably somebody like him.
That's quite a nice, interesting insight. You know, what would be if you had that ideal scenario where you could just pick someone or
Yeah.
build someone from scratch.
Yeah.
That would be how you'd work. That was Geordie's Gone to Jail from 1986. Thanks, Olga.
Thanks, Ronan.